So today I'm working on my new longboard mold, you might be wondering why I'm here at home instead of working at the shop to make my mold. And the reason is because this is more of the design stage right now, and so I'm actually not using any tools. I'm actually just sitting down with it. I brought the mold home with me, I brought my board with me, and I brought all my stuff so I can sit down and just kind of pound out what it's going to turn into, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing, what's going on. It's just right over here on the floor, so I'll show you that right now. Alright, so I just want to pick up a little bit where I left off last time. So before I had just a dry layup of all the blocks that I had cut out and fit to the design layout I had put on the baseboard. So as I say, I've got the two concave blocks cut out, I had the transition block cut out, I had this wedged block cut out, this rear transition over here, and this other flat block over here. And I'd glued them down to the deck, and together they've made a very basic shape. And it was really all not that special yet. So what I've been doing now, or what I've just finished doing, is I'm adding some three-dimensional shape to this area right here. Because before it was just a straight line right across, really not organic and not really comfortable, not what I'm wanting. So what I do at this point, once I have all the blocks in place, I need to add shape to the board. What I do is I cut out little wedges of MDF, and so you can see it right here. Put the wedge down, and I glue it down and put a little pin nail into it, and it creates a nice spacer, so I can get the my Bondo and just level it across the top, and it automatically makes this nice area that's easy to sand down. It just makes it really smooth, and I can add these wherever I need more shape. Of course, this isn't an MDF block. This is a block of cheese, and it's delicious. Same thing, right? So, using these blocks of MDF, these wedges, I'm able to add shape wherever I need it. And of course, removing shape is easy because it's MDF. It sands down really well. So all that shaping with the wedges and the Bondo and the MDF, that was all done at the shop. But like I said, we're not at the shop right now. We're doing some design stuff at my house where we don't need the tools. We just need some pencils and just some time with the board. So what I'm actually doing is right now just taking care of some of the finer details of it, now that I've got it a lot closer to what I know I want. So let me take you through it a little bit. So how you stand on the board is actually like this. And so my feet, these spots are really the sweet spot for my feet. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that it feels the way I want it to feel, and I'm just, considering all what needs to be done with it. This is beyond just, assembling. This is really, defining subtle things about the board. So when I ride and when I do my carving on this thing, or on this thing, I'll show you on this one. Can you see that one? Bringing this camera up a little bit. So when I ride this board here and I do my carving, my upper body position changes a lot as I move my upper body around, and as a result of that, my foot position in the rear changes quite a bit. My front, not so much. As I go in from my toe side, my foot will go like from this, as I go to heel side, I might move it all the way out to here. And I'll actually pick up my foot as I ride down the hill. A little bit. So, I'm considering that in my design here. And what I've done is I've marked where the side of my foot is at in all the positions that I believe I'm going to be riding in. And I've marked out exactly how I want to change the deck. So let's get in and take a close look at that. Alright, so you can see here I've got these pencil lines. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually taking off material here and up here so that this transition that drops down is actually going to drop down in more of a curved V shape, so that as my heel is over here, there's enough room for my heel to be sitting on this portion as it slides back and forth here, and the same for my toe over here. But it'll be kind of rolling around this portion here. And this is all stuff that's already very, very, very subtle on the deck I already have, but that wasn't designed into it. Here, I'm actually going through and taking the time to make sure it feels the way I want it to with that. And so that's one of the things I'm looking at. There's a few other, but this is just kind of examples of how I'm really taking the time. And so it's not just a design. It's not a template. It's really something I'm carving out of the wood using, Bondo and sanders. But, so it's really going to be a unique shape. And the one design element that I'm leaving out, so this is the tail. You notice there's no kicktail on it yet. And I'm actually going to be leaving that designing until after I've got a first rideable prototype, because the tail is something that you really can't get the feel for when it's solid on the ground like this mold is. Some of the other attributes that are done at this stage, not at the shop, that doesn't involve the shape underfoot for your comfort and for your body, is actually how much shape the wood can handle. You have to design that, or you have to take that into consideration with your design. And one of the things I like to do is I get some thick paper and I'll put it down and, well, let me get this. I got some graph paper. Hopefully it'll help. It's thinner, but hopefully it'll help you see better what's going on. So if I lay this on my mold, I can feel and see where there's going to be stress pressed in or in with this shape. So I may have to modify my shape based upon relieving stress. So if you look at his here, if I hold this down on this side and continue it towards, you can see I could relieve a lot of stress by putting some W concave down the center of this board. Or I could make it so that that there's a peak that runs right along here and down here. That would relieve stress too. And I'll go through and try to find ways with my paper where I can relieve stress so that it'll press up a lot easier and will have a lot less spring back coming out. And this stage, I mean, you can, with Baltic birch, is with what I build with, you can really force it to do a lot. Between both, shaping the deck to feel good and be functional underneath your feet and really carving out an artistic shape from it, and also shaping it in a way that's adequate for the wood, there's really a lot that goes into it. And so that's why I brought it home, and it's really worthwhile to put the time into it that's not at the shop. And it's I've put a lot of thought into it so far, and it's going to keep going places and develop as I think more about it. But I'm at the point where I'm about ready to go back to the shop. I've got some lines drawn on the board of what I want to take out. I've got to figure out a few things on what I want to try to stress relieve. I think I'm probably good in the front, but on the rear, It's just there's just a little too much stress that I still want to deal with somehow. And I've also got to consider back here the stress that I'm going to get as well when I start to include the tail. So that's the next stage of design. And this is really what's fun about making these molded three-dimensional boards. This is a lot more technical than what you get just with a simple 2D rail press, like what I've got in some of the other videos and the tutorials. So, but you can see why we didn't really make a simple tutorial for that. It's just got a lot going on. So anyway, I'll continue working on this and we'll make another video when I've got more updates.